This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here in Saudi Arabia. Eddie, it's good to see you. How are you? You're looking quite fresh. Had a little haircut and everything.
A little haircut, trying to stay young, Andy. I'm buzzing, mate. I mean, this is... don't get any bigger, does it? I said earlier, if you're a fight fan, get ready for the best night of boxing you've ever seen. And if you're not a fight fan, get ready to fall in love with the sport. It's just a bit sad that if you become a fight fan on Saturday, this is your first experience. Because I've never experienced anything like this before. It's going to be amazing.
These are the types of cards, Eddie, and I know we're not used to seeing something as stacked as what we're about to see, but the ones which you hope will bring in that casual audience.
Yeah, I mean, we feel like boxing is a tremendous product. If you actually come and watch it, you will fall in love with it. So you are spoiled if you tune in for the first ever time on Saturday. But I think fight fans know and appreciate how good this card is. Every fight on the card, I know we say it often, but the reality is any fight on this card could headline its own fight on any network, in any country. And yeah, even like we got 4 fights out of the 7, but even the 3 that we're not involved with, I cannot wait for.
We obviously want to touch on some of those. Let's start off with Shakur and Floyd. They've already started having a back and forths. Yeah. Floyd suggesting that their relatives seem to know each other in some way. What do you know? What have you said about it?
I've never really met Floyd or senior or junior. I quite like them, to be honest with you. What I've seen, they look like they're up for it. You know, it's a massive chance for them, and they're rolling the dice, and you have to respect that. The kid's a good fighter. Like, I actually don't think this is an easy fight for Shakur at all. I think it's a really good fight. But I do believe Shakur's very special. You know, I think that he's a man that is, you know, he's already a 3-division world champion. I think he's a pound-for-pound star, and I think he'll shine on Saturday night.
There's obviously been a lot of talk about the Zapata-Farmer fight potentially taking place. Is that going to be the case for next up for Ben?
Yeah, I'd hope so. I mean, you know, we've got to get through Schofield first, but I was disappointed to see Zapata fighting Farmer. Like, I don't think Zapata really wants to fight Shakur, if I'm honest. And I think we should focus our attention towards the tank fight. You know, I think that's the biggest fight in American boxing. 2 unbelievable fighters, and you know, like I said, Saturday first, and then we'll go from there.
Just one on that, on the Tank fight. Are you confident that one can be delivered? Because I know Tank's had kind of a few jabs with Turkey Al Sheikh, shall we say. Are you confident it can be delivered, Tank versus Shakur?
Because everyone's sensible. I mean, what other fights are there out for Tank? You know, he's fighting. You know, he's got a decent fight next, but he's a super featherweight that Tank will want to be in big fights. He'll want to make big money, and I think the biggest fight out there for him is Shakur Stevenson, and vice versa.
Obviously you've got Beterbiev, Bivol, your man Dimitri, looking to right the wrongs of last time in a very close fight. He said to me he can't get this feeling out of his head, he can't stop thinking about that loss. Does that give you more confidence? Because when something's like stuck inside you like that, it's something you want to right the wrong of.
Dimitri's a winner, you know, he's a perfectionist. It's the first time he suffered defeat. We feel like he should have won the fight. It's over now. It's going to be a very tough night's work for him again on Saturday, and I believe he'll win again on Saturday. But I feel like, you know, it's just got to go his way. You know it's going to be a close fight. They're 2 unbelievable fighters. But, yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see how both adapt. But, you know, it's interesting to hear Dimitri say he wasn't 100% last time. Let's hope he is on Saturday. And if he is, I believe he wins the fight.
You obviously just had Virgil Ortiz walk past you. I didn't see if he seemed to acknowledge you or not.
Yeah, he did, but I was talking to Madrimov at the time. That, for me, is just one of the great fights. I mean, you know, you can't even say it's like a fight fans fight, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you understand boxing, you know Ortiz Madrimov is an all-out war. 50-50 fight, 2 great fighters. Can't wait to watch it. You know, as is Adamez against Hamza Sheeraz. Like, I'm fascinated by that fight. It's not, you know, I don't represent either, but I really like Hamza. I think he's a good fighter, but it's just such a massive step up for him. If he's good enough, you know, he becomes a big star on Saturday night, but it's a very tough fight.
Ask on Madrimov and Ortiz, you've just said it's an all-out war, but we saw Madrimov against Terence Crawford, showed a bit more of a technical fight than what people expected. What do you think is the approach to defeat Virgil Ortiz?
I don't think, you know, like, it'll be a brutal fight because of the style of Ortiz. Like, he's going to do what he always does, which is come forward, bring aggression. You know, Madrimov's going to hold his feet at time, he can box very well. The fight with Crawford's a great mover. And so's Madrimov, so they kind of negated each other. It's still a good fight, but I think Saturday will be different. And you've got to really compete with the workload of Ortiz, because he throws a lot of punches.
Just a couple to end on, Eddie. Oscar De La Hoya, how desperate are you to get 2 back after the past weekend?
Schofield turns up. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, we'll be claiming that win. Yeah, I was, you know, gutted to lose. I saw him earlier, and I think we both know and acknowledge that Catterall Barboza was a very close fight. I think if he's honest, he may have thought Barboza won, but I bet he weren't confident they were going to get the decision when they went to the scorecards. And I thought we edged the fight, but it could have gone either way, and it went their way. And 2 more to get right this weekend.
Just with Jack, where do you go to next with him?
Well, I spoke to Sam. Like, in those situations, you've really got 2 options. You can come back with a relatively easy fight, a straightforward fight, or you can go back in the deep end. And the word from the camp is back in the deep end, please. So he'll have a little rest, and we'll be looking to bring him back in a big fight. And with everything that Jack's achieved, you're only 1 fight away from being back in line for a world title. So this journey's anything but over for Jack Catterall. Very disappointing not to get that win. It was set up fantastically well for him to move on from that, but it's done, and he's got to come back stronger.
Eddie, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thank you.